guys, Josh here. Real quick before the episode starts. This episode was in fact recorded several weeks ago, before all the job issues that I was having. So, I did my best to go through and edit out any inconsistencies to avoid any confusion on your guys' part. Because at the time of this recording, usually Ted and we would talk about what was coming next for the channel at the end of every episode. But ever since adding manual, we really don't do that anymore. We try to keep you guys updated as best we can through our social media pages. Another thing too, there's obviously one glaring difference with this episode. There is no manual. Like I said, this was recorded several weeks ago. So this was before Manuel joined the team. Don't freak out; he's not gone. Matter of fact, this was the last episode Ted and I recorded before Manuel actually joined us, because originally he was only supposed to be a guest on our Star Wars special, but then we liked him so much we decided to add him in for everything else after that. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up before the episode started, so that way you guys weren't freaking out about anything. And without further ado, I give you the final episode of our Canon series, Hirudegarn. Enjoy.
Take that.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerds Make Sense. As always, I'm Josh.
And I'm Ted.
And today we've got a fairly decent episode for you. I mean, I know that doesn't instill a whole lot of confidence when I say it like that, but it's kind of a bittersweet episode if you think about it. We're coming to a close on one of our favorite series so far. This will be our last episode for the Canon series. I know we were kind of on the fence for a while, whether we were even going to do this topic, whether even, he was relevant enough to do, but today's going to be Hirudegarn, the giant, ugly cockroach. So for those who are unfamiliar with the character or haven't seen the movie, Hirudegarn was an evil being that terrorized the planet. What was the name of that planet again?
Like Nakala or not?
It was like Con something.
Cantana.
I think that was it. Cantano.
I don't know.
Something like that. It was something like that. But anyways, it was eventually defeated by some warriors or wizards or whatever. And then they erected a statue on their planet, and it was like it warded off evil and purified souls. And then some evil space wizards came and resurrected the old monster, and it terrorized the planet once again. And then the two warriors, Tapion and his younger brother, is it Minota? Ended up they teamed up with one of their elders to try and kill Hirudegarn, and they used flutes to freeze him, the ocarinas.
Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, they used ocarinas, and the music they played froze Hirudegarn in place. The elder was able to take a sword and cut Hirudegarn in half, and then the two halves were locked inside Tapion and his younger brother.
And they were locked inside of a box.
Yeah, they were each locked inside music boxes, and they were shot to opposite ends of the universe, with Tapion's music box eventually landing on Earth. Mm-hmm. We don't really know what happened to his younger brothers, but we assume it was eventually found by one of the wizards. I forget what they were called.
The wizards?
Yeah, they had a specific name.
The Kashavar.
Yeah.
Kishimoto.
And so, eventually one of their I don't know if it was one of the wizards that ended up surviving the original onslaught, or if it was a descendant of the wizards. Ended up finding Tapion's younger brother. I am spacing on. Like, I know you said the name just a little bit ago, but I'm already spacing on again. Minota. I am gonna get that. Ended up finding his box and taking control of the half of Hirudegarn that was locked inside Minota, and then eventually went in search of Tapion's box. And of course, the Z fighters were unaware of what was going on, and they used Shenron to open up the box and free Tapion, and Tapion was pissed at them because now Hirudegarn's free. Basically, battle ensues. Goku goes Super Saiyan 3, beats him.
Yeah, this movie's only known for Goku using Dragon Fist for the first time
and only time in the anime.
Yeah, and basically that.
Not even in the anime. It's one of the movies. It's not
also
even
one of
considered
those
canon.
Japanese things where a big, huge monster destroys town.
Well, actually, I don't know. Would Hirudegarn be considered canon? Because the sword that Tapion uses that he gives to young Trunks is the sword that future Trunks uses before 17 or 18 breaks it.
Ain't no one mentioned it, so.
But I mean, it's the exact same sword.
No one mentions it.
And then Trunks, he ends
Trunks
up
never mentions it.
and then he ends up making a new one for Super. But anyways, so the whole thing is with Hirudegarn. After doing research, at first I thought it was just going to be an absolute no with Hirudegarn. Because there's no real character in. And the thing is he's essentially just another Majin Buu ripoff, if you think about it.
I don't really see him as Majin Buu at all.
Well, here's the thing. He is a being that's been locked away for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And an evil wizard is trying to free him so he can terrorize the universe.
But that's just like, that's not, but he is not like Majin Buu when he comes out of that.
No, but I'm saying it's just it's the similar character tropes again.
Certain circumstances.
And of course, we see Super Saiyan 3 again, which we only see, we see in the fight against Fat Buu when he's evil, and then we see in the fight against Kid Buu later. But yeah, when I was reading about him, and I got to thinking, would he really be worth the time, making him canon? And I think there is an argument that could be made to making him canon. Obviously, there's plenty of an argument not to make him canon, because who really wants to go and watch a giant cockroach?
I think it'd be pretty easy, honestly. I can say yes and no, because you can say yes, you can make him canon, but then he won't be Hirudegarn. It'll be like a Janemba kind of thing, because they can honestly just make him a demon. Like he is. He already is a demon. You can just make him a demon, and he can also, since you say he's like Majin Buu, and he has Majin. He is like a Majin.
Yeah, several other points he's actually referenced as a Majin.
Yeah, he's a phantom Majin. So he could just be like one of the old Majins.
Hell, he could even be what Majin Buu is essentially based on.
Dude, I don't think Majin Buu is based on that.
Well,
other than him being locked away.
Well, here's the thing: Hirudegarn is pure evil. But so is the original Kid Buu.
So are all the other villains.
Well, yes and no. Some of them have some redeeming qualities.
Frieza. Cell.
Cell. Okay. Cell. He never actually wanted to destroy the world. He was simply using it as a threat to get Goku to fight him.
I know, but did he kill all those people to get there?
Yes. I'm not denying that he's evil. I'm just saying he's not pure evil. Because the only things he really wanted to do was, 1, to achieve his perfect form, and 2, to fight Goku. If Goku had been a little bit faster, or if he'd gotten there a little bit earlier, then who knows?
If Vegeta actually killed Cell.
Yeah.
There you go. That's more like it. Don't blame Goku.
Oh, hey, there's a lot of blame to go around in that arc.
If Vegeta just killed Cell instead of letting him get away, Vegeta would have been the hero, and everyone would have had that one. And
but you could also blame Piccolo. He had enough power to beat Cell, but yet he allowed himself to get tricked into looking at the solar flare.
Piccolo is Piccolo.
Yes, like, but you cannot say he didn't have enough power to defeat First Form Cell.
He did, but not when freaking Vegeta was playing with that man.
Well, yeah, of course, and
Piccolo was going all out.
I'm one of the first ones to agree with you on that one. Vegeta should have killed Cell, but then the whole thing would have been over too soon.
It would have been over too soon, but the fan base would have been happy.
I don't know. I think I mean maybe at the time he did it, everybody was a little upset that he didn't that he just didn't finish off Cell right away. But I think later on when we get Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, I think everybody was like, okay, yeah, we're good with that.
Yeah, but with Hirudegarn, they could honestly just say. But the thing about me is I'm not a huge fan of I am, but to the point with giant enemies, like the great apes were different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And great apes, and then there's baby great ape, and then there's slug, and I don't know who else are humongous fighters, but the stuff like that, I just feel like, well, I think no matter how much power they get from being transformed and all that, they lack in something, and it's just it's the dumbest thing, and then they lose.
I honestly think somebody in the writers' room was like, okay, what if we have a kaiju fight a Super Saiyan?
But the only thing about Hirudegarn is Hirudegarn wasn't like that compared to Slug and the Great Apes, because with the Great Apes, they're easily tricked in cutting their tail off or being fat, or the opponent being faster than the Great Apes to zoom around and hit them. And with Slug, you seen how that went out. Goku just went Super Saiyan. That was over. It didn't even matter.
I mean, with Slug, technically he didn't go Super Saiyan. It was like a pre-Super faux Super Saiyan thing.
That he went that, and then but with Hirudegarn, man, everyone went their final forms in or their top forms.
And they got trashed.
They got trashed. Hirudegarn actually had what to back up, which what I like about him, and he had that skin that was impenetrable, and they could easily say that this thing is what guards, because what I was thinking, since it says it's a demon god, and about that it says Hirudegarn was a demon god, right? And his place, and it said his spectral body was put in that statue. So is that not how Hirudegarn originally looks like? If you think about it,
I don't know.
So they could honestly just get rid of all that and just keep the spectral part.
Yeah.
And just make a whole new person and make him actually I don't know, not humanoid, but around there.
Yeah.
Like a regular person to fight. Sort of like Kid Buu and sort of that, I guess you want to say.
Yeah.
They could do that, and then he could be the one that watches between the realms, I guess. And then I don't know. Because they could honestly go anywhere, because they talked about all the gods and stuff in Super and Dragon Ball Z, but they never mentioned demon stuff other than Dabura. I don't know. Yeah. That sounds weird. So they honestly, and I don't know if that's what they'll touch on later, because I guess in the manga right now they're talking about sorcery, and this is sort of like sorcery right now in the Super manga.
Yeah.
So they could probably go down that route later. I mean, look. I mean, Demigra's right there, and that's in Xenoverse. I mean, if Demigra's right there, that's another one.
I honestly think that they'll, if they bring anybody over, there's the announcement. Sorry, there was the announcement earlier. What was it, a couple weeks ago? Mm-hmm. I think Geekdom 101 was one of the first ones to break the news that the anime is officially coming back. No word on whether it's going to be a continuation of Super or if it's going to have a new title.
No, it'll be Super.
Okay. Yeah. But it's going to be picking up with where the manga has continued.
Yeah.
No official release date on when we're going to get it.
Yeah, a lot of people from Japan are saying it's not true, but like Geekdom said, they want to release it on their own time.
Yeah.
Instead of other people leaking it out.
I think we'll get it. If we get it this year, it'll be later this year.
I think it'll be like May.
No, I don't think it'll be that early. You realize May is only at the time we're recording this, May's only a month and a half away.
Yeah, but there's like a lot of days, like Goku days in May, so.
Yeah, but that could be the day they give us an official announcement on when the anime is returning.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The show's not coming out till probably next year, if anything.
Well, I could see it coming out later this year. But
because if it comes out later this year...
Honestly, I think they've been secretly working on it the whole time, which is why they kind of took it, what is a year off?
I don't think they'll come out later this year, because later this year is My Hero, and I don't think they'd want that sort of versus against their shows, because if you think about how it was laid out before...
Well...
Because Super was always the later show. And after Super was over, My Hero will come out in spring. But now, for some reason, My Hero ended then, and now it's coming out in a later date.
Yeah.
I don't think they want to compete with that, because then...
I mean, would it really be a competition? Because
yes.
I honestly think that Super is more popular.
It's more popular, but My Hero's going up when Super's off. So
I'll admit, the last season of My Hero was incredible.
There will be conflict. They wouldn't want to challenge that. They want to be on the center stage. Because think about all the other shows that come out with Super. No one talks about those.
Yeah. So you're thinking we might not see it until, what, summer next year?
Or January. I feel like... Oh, actually, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It depends. And if
they basically trade slots where, My Hero used to be the summer show and now...
Yeah, because that makes... It made no sense because everyone was surprised when they announced that it's coming out in October. My Hero. Like, I was surprised because it was always a spring anime.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But when it does come out, I mean, with all the stuff it's saying that... So Hirudegarn can be, like... If it goes down the route, Hirudegarn could be a good fit, but like I said, it's a yes and no because the whole tall big thing it's overrated. That's not a thing anymore. I mean, the most you've seen recently is in the Tournament of Power. Yeah, and that was basically a shout out to Hirudegarn as it is already because it was like the same amount of people fighting one big thing.
Right.
So
yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think it's one of those. He's one of those characters where you could do something with him, but it's not necessary to do anything.
You could do something with him, but reworking him is like just a whole new idea as it is. So you could be like, oh, it's like Hirudegarn, but it's not. Yeah. So or it is not Hirudegarn, but it is, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah. My question is, and now that you've mentioned it was a fusion form that like went, giant in the Tournament of Power, right? It was. What universe was it again? Do you remember?
No.
Oh, but it was the one with the robots, right?
Yeah, the robots and that one guy.
Yeah. Why didn't Piccolo pull out his giant form for that?
Piccolo was already eliminated.
Was he?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It was only Goku.
Do you think he would have if he had been in there?
No. The man got taken out by a flea. He ain't doing nothing.
Okay, but he wasn't the only one to get eliminated by that dude.
That was the only one I care about. That was my universe. I don't care if anyone else got eliminated by him. But even in that scene when he did get eliminated, he could have stretched his arms out and grabbed the ring, but he didn't. He just free-falled.
I think Toriyama forgot about that again.
I don't think he forgot about it. I just don't...
He just didn't care?
He didn't care. That's Piccolo. Like, look at Krillin. He had that one thing and then...
Yeah.
And then T and Shinohana had sacrificed himself. Like, it was just basically how do I get rid of these people so the big people can actually fight.
Yeah.
Without anyone actually dying.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So, I will agree with you on that one.
So yeah. So it's a maybe. I'm gonna say this is the first maybe because it could happen.
Honestly, like I said, this is probably the most difficult one to talk about because there's not a whole lot to go on. Yeah. But in a way that gives him potential to be something completely different.
Yeah, he was a Destroyer King as well. He's one of the Destroyer Kings.
Oh yeah, in the new card set. Yeah.
Yeah, in Dragon Ball Heroes, he's a Destroyer King with Bojack and Janemba and all of them and 13. Basically, if you don't know what a Destroyer King, I don't even know if we went over what a Destroyer King was last time.
I don't think we really talked about
it's people being controlled by Babidi. Like Vegeta basically. Vegeta's a Destroyer King as well.
Yeah.
So. And basically that goes off the Majin thing again. So
yeah.
He could just be like a failed Majin thing, and then they try to seal him away because they failed, and then they made Majin Buu. He's not based off Majin Buu, But when they were trying to make something, he was just too evil to control, so they sealed him away. And then they made Boo, but like they sealed him in a statue for some dumb reason, and that could break, and he freed. What's with them putting him in people and things that could break? Why not just? If you can create this thing, you can destroy it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just
Like,
I don't understand.
I mean, I don't know. With Boo, it took an incredible amount of power to defeat him.
Man, you know who?
And even then, if you think about it, Boo's really not dead. I mean, yes, you've got Fat Boo that turned good.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about it, Kid Boo's not dead because you've got Oob.
Yeah, he got reincarnated.
So he never really died.
Yeah, the evil Kid Boo died, I guess you could say, and then he got purified.
Yeah.
Like Deborah.
No, okay. Now, one thing that and I'm sure, I mean, it's been such a long time since I've seen the final episode of Z. Does Oob automatically have access to all of that strength?
It's hidden latent ability because Goku has to make him mad. Remember? Yeah. Goku was like, "Oh, kiss my Oob. Your village is poor." Blah blah blah. And then then it came out like, I guess, like his body knew it, but at the end of it, he's like, "What the heck?"
So it's there. It just needs to be unlocked.
Yeah, like latent ability. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. But anyways, getting back to what we were saying, so this is going to be a short video,
it's a maybe
because he's a maybe. There are things you could do to make him canon, but the question is, do we want him? Yeah. And that's the whole thing in a nutshell. Is he necessary? Is he relevant? Mm-hmm. Whereas the other ones, you could easily either it was a no or it was a yes. I mean, obviously, there is a way you can sit there and tweak every villain that is technically not canon and make them canon, but it's just one of those things where is it truly necessary? And that's one of the questions that you have to ask with Hirudegarn. Is there even a point?
Yeah, like Josh said, I mean, he has the backstory of Boo being sealed away. He's a giant. He's giant, and he also, I read that his tail can actually absorb people as well.
Yeah, like Cell.
So it's just a combination of things. And it makes you really think, what then? Was he just a rip-off this whole time of other people?
Yeah, kind of.
Tall. And then that goes back to the Tournament of Power thing, because the Tournament of Power thing was basically Janemba's power, of dimension magic. Yeah. The wings of Hirudegarn. Now, it wasn't Hirudegarn's wings, but Hirudegarn could fly. Yeah. So it was a bunch of different things. And those can be the actual canon things of them, and in shout outs and oh, look at this, look at that, it's the same thing. Remember that big cockroach? It's this thing right here. So
and I think honestly, even before that, I think the movie with Hirudegarn that's already out, I think is probably the easiest one you could argue that you could fit into the already established canon. Yes, they don't ever mention it in the anime that when they go past that era or that point in time. But I mean, how many villains other than Frieza and occasionally mentioning, Cell or Majin Buu, do they actually mention after they beat them? There's been no mention of the Ginyu Force. Yes, there's been little hints. Obviously with Gohan doing his great Saiyaman thing, and then of course the Pride Troopers from the Tournament of Power.
The Pride Troopers.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an obvious little bit of an allusion back to the Ginyu Force and Super Sentai. Obviously, yes. It's all they were both based off of Super Sentai.
Thing, yeah.
But it's other villains they just don't get mentioned anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's but because of the fact that Goku goes Super Saiyan 3 in Wrath of the Dragon. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, it's the easiest one you could fit into the established canon without screwing up the rest of the timeline.
Yeah, without saying
I mean, you already could make the argument that it is canon, in a sense, because it's how Trunks gets his sword. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so like I said, this is going to be a short one. It's a maybe. I think that's as best we can do. You know, yes, I'll say it again. Yes, you can tweak him and make him canon, but do we want to?
Yeah, and if not, they can just make a whole new person that does better than him anyway.
So yep. And all right, well, that is it for Canon. With that, I guess we're gonna sign off for now. Until the next one, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.